mindset is huge. I've had to overcome some of my own hurdles over time, but nothing changes if nothing changes. We're solely responsible for making the decision to make a change, make our lives better. No one is going to do that for us. No one's going to step in and pick up the ball where we've dropped it. We've been through some hard times. We've shown how resilient we are and we're still standing. Don't be afraid to keep moving forward.
Hey, so we're having a conversation with Deb Pengilly from DCK Digital Marketing Solutions.com.au. And Deb is an internet marketer, and she has a variety of skills about how you can run a successful online marketing business and how you can gain that crucial marketing knowledge. We're talking everything from TikTok marketing, Pinterest, Facebook ads, sales funnels, grow your business using social media, and so much more. So, Deb, glad to be talking to you.
Thank you, Robert, for having me.
You're very welcome. And so, if someone came to you and said, what do you do? What has you excited? How do you stand out? What's the elevator pitch? What's the 60-second answer of what you are up to these days?
What I'm up to is one, trying to change my circumstances personally, but also trying to change that of others as well who have found themselves in a position where their um, livelihoods are being threatened or struggling financially, looking for a side hustle, looking for a way to just become a little bit more free to live life. And so, yeah, I'm trying to help everyone else join the path that I'm on.
Okay, so join the path in using your brain instead of your labor or your time or your muscle. You know, like if you were just like stacking boxes or like cooking food, that's just seems like a low value activity, and a more higher value activity is getting websites online, is on getting traffic, is on making sales, and tapping into sort of this last 20 years revolution of people having problems and needing their problems solved and finding digital courses and just like, getting their businesses established and online. And so can you tell us like sort of about these problems that you solve? If someone says, okay, so I know that my company, my business needs some sort of internet presence, or maybe we have one, but it's not very good. And they come to you and they say, fix it. They say, give me more customers, more sales. What is your approach? What's your answer to their lack of traffic or sales problem?
Well, I'm finding that a lot, particularly small business, they don't have time, they don't have the money, they don't have the know-how to get themselves online. And so I'm helping them. So a lot of them don't have even a website. They don't know where to start to get that. So I'm putting up a website for their business, directing phone calls and leads to that business to them directly. So yeah, just getting the traffic to them via online marketing.
And so to give us an idea of something like tangible, do you have a favorite industry, or is there a business you feel like telling us about that you've helped recently that's like in like, do you like chiropractors, dentists, accountants? Like what's your favorite space?
At the moment, plumbers. We have had a lot of rain in Australia. You're probably aware. Plumbing is there's a lot of them out there, but a lot of them, as I said, don't have the know-how to get themselves noticed and found. So I've actually had to engage one myself, and so I'm working with him to get him further into the industry, get some more people, heading his way, finding him online when they're searching for, a blocked drain, for example. They can find him a lot more easily than, yeah, word of mouth, which is not all it's cut out to be anymore, because everyone jumps on their phone, emergency plumber. So if you're not on there, you will not be found. And that's what I'm trying to help people with.
And that's interesting to think about, that if there's an emergency, if you need that plumbing problem fixed now, what do? You go on the phone, you go on the apps, you go on the social media, you do some searches, and you see what shows up in front of you. And if it's an emergency and there's a time crunch and it has to be done today, then it's like you're going to make the purchase today. It's a matter of who will come in front of you. And so you're making me think of over the years as a homeowner, right? Every few years, something breaks, even in a newer house. A few years ago, like the sewer line broke and the outgoing uh, water was sort of leaking. And, every now and then there will be like, there was like a toilet that like the foundation cracked. So there's always something, right? When water's
Yeah,
involved, something will eventually leak. And so I have this urgent problem. And at least here in America, the problem with me is that I'm stuck in one of two extremes, right? Either I do the Google search, which is like the mainstream approach. And what happens with me is I ended up on a switchboard, right? I said, well, my local town, who's a plumber, and I called a number and they said, oh, what city are you calling? And I thought I was calling someone local. And I ended up on some like national marketing company that probably played middleman. And I called some switchboard and they like called back to me and they made some kind of money. And they ended up like charging me like $1,000 for something that like I know it was like $200. Like they
wow.
made money off of me. And the other extreme is to go on like the Facebook groups and things like that and
Yeah,
kind of see, well, who recommends what and who knows who you're even speaking to. And so I can imagine how there are some plumbers out there, to use our example, who feel just left out, right? And they say,
absolutely.
if only I had a better Google ranking, a better social media ranking, maybe some free content out there from help from someone like you, I could be more have a bigger profile. And so if someone had this problem, I could just catch some of this traffic. So if a plumber comes to you and they say, I've seen what you've done with this other plumber, what can you do for me? What are the deliverables? Are you all about like the videos, the articles, the social media, the SEO, all the above? Like, what do you deliver for that struggling plumber who doesn't know what they don't know and all they care about is more leads every day?
Yeah, yep. First of all, get a website up, and optimize it for the area that they're in, so that they don't end. People looking for a plumber don't end up following the path that you did, where you could end up calling anyone. You can target your audience to a website via SEO, um, and making sure the locations are set, and then follow that up with uh, some social media, for example, Facebook marketing, to lead local pages, local marketplace pages, etc., to that person. But yeah, definitely, I think a website. There's a lot that don't have one, and yeah, you need something to come up on that map on the Google map, the three pack, to show that you're there, and waiting for your clients.
And so it seems like right off the bat, so you're saying that a logical starting point is number one, have a website because I mean, you and I are surprised at how some businesses don't have a website. Like in this day and age, like
Yeah,
go on, have one. Like
yeah,
you need one. And then also to get submitted into whatever directories that there are, especially Google Maps, because you always see like there's like these unclaimed listings, right? Like if I search for a plumber in my local town and I see these listings and they say, hey, if this is you, click here to claim this listing. I'm thinking,
yeah,
so this plumber, they don't even care enough to look into just clicking a link, clicking a button and saying this is who I am. And so
yeah,
if a plumber out there says, I'm not even sure what my website should even say, like what should the pages be, what should be on there. What's your answer to that? Like, is there an easy sort of checklist to check off as far as like what their website should say?
yeah. It definitely where they're located for a start, obviously, and the service that they're providing. Some credibility, like some reviews. If you can get some previous clients to put up on that website. And yeah, just about them, make them look like they're part of the community. Someone you can go to if you've got an emergency, someone that's happy to pick up the phone, and help you out if you've got an issue. Um, yeah, but particularly you need to make sure that their services are on that website so that someone that's searching for anything that can go wrong with, for example, plumbing, that website's gonna come up in their search.
Well, great. And so, yeah, like I just keep thinking back to some of these emergency situations. Like I had like the time when the sewer line broke and I couldn't even shower or wash my hands. And you don't think much of it, but like when you
Yeah.
can't even wash your hands, you're like, I feel the grime building on me like by the minute. And I
Yeah.
need this problem solved now. And I know that even if I contacted someone right now, they wouldn't even be here for like 2 hours or like
Yeah.
4 hours. So I'm like the clock is ticking. So I like your mindset already of if someone has an urgent problem, they can find you quickly. And so
Mm.
as far as some of these local businesses are concerned, I'm not as like tapped into it as you are. But I'm amazed when over the years when I've had these issues, like sprinkler problems, you name it. Um, and I make all sorts of phone calls. Say I call like 8 local businesses and only like 3 of them get back to me. And only one of them can be here in the next day or two. And I'm amazed at sort of the ones that have this dialed in, they have really good goals, right? They have the goals of like, we call someone back within 10 minutes. We
Yeah.
can be there within 24 hours. So is this important, or is this when you come to this plumber and you're educating them about like uh what they need to like get these customers? Do you have any of these sort of deadlines or these best practices in place as far as like what to say on the website, how quickly to respond? Do any best practices of that sort come to mind for you?
Generally, you'll find, and I like to see that these types of clients would have a "we will get back to you within 24 hours," type of a situation. Um, you can't you can't make a promise without following that through. The same as when I run my business, if I make a promise to, solve something for someone, then you've got to give yourself a time frame when you can achieve that. And so the same agreement would be made with whoever the client is that's, that you're trying to help by leading getting some leads sent to them. So yeah, you need to have, and particularly in these emergency type industries, you need to have a time frame like 24 hours, which is generally, fairly common, I think.
Okay, well, great. So, yeah, like how at least get back to them in 24 hours. And it's an interesting mindset in general in whatever profession. Like, is there a 24-hour type of emergency? Like plumber lends itself to many different scenarios. And then, so then, when people talk about SEO, search engine optimization, ranking, sometimes the thought process goes into content. And so, do you help with content, or if, say there's some plumber and they're like, I have no idea about blog posts, YouTube videos, etc. Do you help with that, or do you give ideas about like what sort of content like a local contractor could create to help to kind of elevate their presence?
Yeah, definitely. I've done a fair bit of research in the area, and I kind of have my own template now where, we go through the list, and you kind of need to tick the boxes to be able to fully SEO your website, enough to get some leads coming through. So definitely, there are sections that are pretty, important that people are looking for to be able to make that phone call to get to you. So yeah, we definitely would have that discussion beforehand.
And so when you have these discussions with these local, businesses, contractors of like, we keep going to plumbers because that's an easy kind of tangible, concrete example. But you service all different types. Is there something that you wish they knew beforehand? Like when you come to them and you say, okay, I need to educate them about search rankings and content and contact information. Is there just something that you see as like a big mistake that a lot of local businesses and contractors just like they never know about, and you wish that they knew ahead before even contacting you? Anything come to mind?
Mostly, I think that there are people out there like myself, and many others that can help them just so easily and cost effectively as well, to change their whole business, turn the whole business around for them, and put them at the top of the ranking instead of having them struggle, not being found on the first page. And I think because the knowledge isn't there necessarily, people that are working in that industry may not have the know-how to do this type of stuff. So I think they just need to realize that it's not as hard, it's not as daunting, it's not as expensive as what maybe it used to be. And there's plenty of people out there now that are willing and ready to help them, particularly in the climate that we're in, where people are struggling, especially small business.
I like that a lot. That and, maybe there's some sort of service person that has just felt year after year slowly edged out, slowly pushed down a little bit, right? Because
Mm.
it just seems like the walls are closing in, and it seems like they're just slowly like having to work harder and harder. And it might be just because, like we've been saying this whole conversation, people are better educated instead of dealing with word of mouth. They do a Google search, they look on, Facebook and places like that, and they're just looking in different places. And maybe up until now, they've been ignoring the revolution that's been happening the last couple of decades. And they say, well, I don't have time for that, right? I'm the
Yeah.
plumber, I'm the accountant. And what the solution is to find someone like you who can solve this problem for them, who understands their industry and says, I hate it just as much as you do, right? I hate that these national, huge businesses have just tried to take over all the search engine rankings and all the YouTube and all the social media. And it's time to give these local, hardworking mom and pop type businesses the voice that they should have, and tap into some of these marketing techniques. And so, is there a sort of a checklist or a to do list to think about? Like we mentioned a few things like website, social media. Is there room for like advertising, Facebook ads, YouTube ads? Like if someone said, tell me like the six things to do. Is there something to like maybe check off or things that they should be doing that you can help them with?
Definitely, definitely, yeah, Facebook or Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, for example. Um, and the courses that I have, and I've learned those skills, and are they're perfect for that scenario, where people are on their phones all the time, scrolling social media, and yeah, they need to have that presence where a lot of the big guys do. They can pay for the advertising as well. So I feel like that, yeah, they need to be not just on Google, on a website, but there are other avenues that are gonna lead people to that page. So, yeah, definitely, Facebook marketing, is a big one. Even LinkedIn is as well. So, yeah, yeah, that's, definitely some avenues that they can take.
Well, great. So you're saying that they need to have this sort of presence. And then just before this call, I was looking at your website, which is, we said before, DCK Digital Marketing Solutions.com.au. And what's cool about someone like you who delivers different courses is that I imagine that that local contractor can look at the courses that you provide. And like if I look right now and I say, oh, Facebook Marketplace or YouTube ads, that someone can say, I see you have courses on this. And because you have a course, that means you teach it. And they say, I'm just that plumber. I don't have time to take a course and then learn it and then apply it. They can say, you already have the expertise because you deliver the course. If I'm a
Yes.
plumber that wants YouTube ads, you can just deliver that. So they can almost look at your courses as sort of a menu and say, can I have number 2 and number 7? And you can just deliver it for them instead.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And the courses themselves are 5 or 6 modules, 20 minutes each, and very step by step, easy to follow, from the person, just starting out in learning these skills, to the person who's already, been doing them for a while. Anyone can go on there and learn that and implement it. So, yeah, it should show that, the process that I would be following, that they could follow themselves in time, to assist with their marketing.
And so you mentioned that, that someone can just like put in that little bit of time investment and watch some videos, watch some modules of your course. And what it makes me think of is, Deb, I'm just like a computer programmer type of person. And when I got my college degree, I took electives. Like I took this like environmental sciences class, and doesn't mean that I'm going to go out and save the planet, but I can just learn some things. And so maybe if someone is curious, about what you could do for them on LinkedIn, for example, they could just go and watch some videos and learn about LinkedIn and say, well, I'm not going to do it, but I want to watch these videos so that way when it comes time to tell Deb to market my business on LinkedIn, they can just be educated about what you would do for them, knowing like I'll learn it. I know I won't apply it, but Deb will. And so I will just kind of know, I will have a little bit more hands on of like, I'll know what she will do for me and my business. And
Yeah.
so, you mentioned there about a Facebook marketplace, and that was kind of interesting that that kind of was a blip on the radar. And so, can you, in these final few minutes of our conversation, can you tell us about like what businesses are missing out on Facebook Marketplace? Because I'm impressed when, say, for example, someone on social media is asking like, "Who's a good plumber in the area?" And
Mhm.
sometimes I'll see like an actual plumber jump into a conversation. So as far as like Facebook Marketplace or social media, like, is there an interesting technique that is your favorite that you can help a local business do to get more business, like Facebook Marketplace, social media, anywhere else? Like, what is an example of something you can do on social media to help get some extra sales?
An ad, just simply an ad, a simple ad, non-expensive, just to get them on there, popping up where people, as we know, there are uh, things are popping up that you don't expect half the time. That you think, okay, I was looking for that earlier, and there it is. So yeah, just putting up a simple ad that is going to pop up in front of people's faces as they're searching, they're scrolling through. Um, yeah, so I think now I've lost my train of thought.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
a simple ad is someone scrolling through, and so like your mindset almost seems like it's healthy to think of what small controlled experiment can I run, right? If I'm a plumber and I'm looking to maybe get one more client this week, maybe someone can say, I'll experiment, I'll run an ad, or have even better, have Deb do it for me and throw $50, $100 at some ad and just see what happens, right? And the worst possible thing that can happen is I don't get that one client I wanted. And is it any different from all the other little advertising expenses that you do already? Like if you try a yellow pages ad or whatever you have in Australia, right? Just like some kind of old fashioned newspaper, prints, radio thing where you just kind of throw money and roll the dice and hope it works out. And as you and I know, on the internet, you can sort of track these things, right? On the internet, it's maybe more fast paced and you can have a better measurements of you say, well, did I throw money at this and get one or two or three clients from that? And now I know, okay, my cost per acquisition is this.
Yep.
So, like the kind of the old 1980s, 1990s sort of approach was you throw money at it and hope it works out. But now we can kind of track things better. And so now we can literally say, like, okay, it cost me $20 to acquire a customer and my price is this. And now it's more of a predictable, manageable system.
Absolutely. Yep. And they need to remember too, putting an ad in the local paper only reaches so far. And it's a constant thing. You've got to do that week by week by week. Well, you did. Now the reach is just it's immeasurable on social media, Facebook, for example. Just spending that $50, your bang for your buck, basically, is so much better. So yeah, things have changed, and you've got to trial and error. You've got to try what, and find out what works, the same as anything else. So yeah, but the beauty of that is you can go in and change that anytime. You don't have to wait for the end of that marketing period to come about to change it. So yeah, you can sort of just play around with it, and if you've got the skill and the know-how, you can do that. And monitor the stats every day if you need to.
It makes logical sense to me that maybe if you're looking to remain in the past and continue with the way that things used to be done, then you might not have the results that you would have gotten decades ago. But if you want to try the cutting edge and kind of meet people where they're at, which we've said is on their phones and social media and more fast paced, then it's time to look into some of these sort of new opportunities, which includes you doing the setup and the work for them. And so, what is your ideal sort of client, Deb? Like we were talking about, like local businesses, contractors, plumbers. But if someone says, okay, like a lot of this makes sense to me, but I'm not sure if I'm the right fit for what Deb has to offer, how does a business owner know if there's someone who should be talking to you?
I guess credibility for a start. And knowing that there's been success beforehand, before them. Um, uh, yeah, just have a chat, just have a meet and greet, have a chat, talk about the strategies, what they're looking for, what their expectations are, what they can contribute towards that, and then meet in the middle and come up with a plan that's hopefully going to bring about some results.
And is there like a Venn diagram of is there a type of business that you help and a type of business that you don't help?
At this early stage, no. And I've been at the moment. I'm sort of focusing on the small Australian business because it's been such a tough couple of years, and there's a lot of them that are still just trying to claw their way back to having a decent turnover. So at the moment, I don't have. There's none that are off the radar. But yeah, I'm just definitely, just trying to help as many as I can because there's a lot of heartache happening, as we know, across the world. So yeah.
There has been a revolution, but there have been many upheavals throughout history, right? There's like it seems like every 5 or 10 years there's some other upset, and if you do not get with the times, then you will be weeded out like many other failed businesses. Or you can say, I understand that the only constant is change, and that if I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, that I should seek problems. That a problem means that I have many competitors who cannot rise to the challenge. And if I'm the kind of person that gets up in the morning and says, I'm here to solve problems, I'm that plumber, I'm that accountant, I'm that local business, and I want to change some lives and I want to enrich my life. And I need to get my message out there. And knowing that if I just sit at home and hope someone finds me, it's like waiting for the phone to ring, right? Who will even find you unless you go out there and you kind of get on the hunt and you use someone such as Deb Pengilly to put in some of this marketing juice from Facebook Marketplace, YouTube ads. We mentioned about the Google business listings. We mentioned about search engine optimization. There's all these things that you can and should be doing, and you can start small. And Deb said to start with just your website, right? Start with a website that explains in simple terms what you do, where you're located, how to contact you, hours of operation, services you provide, very doable. And if you're someone who is technically challenged or technophobic, that's great news because Deb has seen it all, she's done it all, and she can help you and your business to get to where you need to go. So if someone says, okay, I'm convinced, or at least I'm convinced to the point where I'm open to having this conversation. How can they contact you, Deb? And how can they have this initial conversation, at least to explore what you can do for them?
Yeah. So my website, DCK Digital Marketing Solutions, is the go-to. There's a contact us section on there to send through, what their needs are. And that's followed by a conversation online or offline to talk about a strategy, what the expectations are, and how we're gonna proceed. And we'll probably do a trial period to see how things go for a little while, and just to create some confidence for the client, and then we go from there, and hopefully things skyrocket.
Fantastic. DCK Digital Marketing Solutions.com.au. And I love what you said there, Deb, about the trial period, right? About how you don't have to get married forever. You don't have to like sign any kind of long term anything. You just say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of just trying the same old tired marketing solutions. And just when I Google my industry plus my city, I get all these Google results and none of them include me. And I don't know why. And it's because, well, you don't know all this internet marketing, digital marketing, because you are specialized in your own profession. And you
Yes.
already have to wear so many hats as a business owner, right? You have to like be working in your trade and know things about accounting and know things about human resources. It's already overwhelming. So let Deb remove some of the problems and stress for you and just have that conversation to see what the possibilities are at DCK Digital Marketing Solutions.com.au. And so, as we're wrapping up our conversation here, Deb, do you feel like we left anything out? Or, like, is there anything you feel like just like inserting into our conversation that your ideal future prospect should hear from you?
Oh, don't just don't procrastinate and don't sit back and hope that it's going to come to you because it won't. We've seen that, and just believe that there are people out there that are willing to help, want to help, have the skills and the know-how, and just want to see people succeed, and change their lives, change their future, change their business.
Very positive, very uplifting. Deb wants to see you succeed. And how many business owners can say that? So many people are jaded and tired and going through the motions, but Deb is hungry for you and your business. So you need to contact her, and she will impress you and dazzle you with all the things that she can and should do for you. And probably there are things that are very simple, very doable, and can be done in a short amount of time. Deb mentioned about things like just having a simple website and getting you ranked for a few simple terms, having some quick content. And these are just some of the very early conversations you should have with Deb by going to dckdigitalmarketingsolutions.com.au. You find that contact us link that Deb mentioned, and you can have that conversation and just explore what can happen for you in the future. So that way you don't have to be just like hanging on year after year. You can have a business that grows and expands, and you can be happy and you can say, I went through those few years, those few scary years when things were on the decline, and it felt like I was just kind of under more pressure. And now you're on the other side of it with Deb and her help and her innovative, cutting edge marketing solutions. So, as we're finalizing our conversation here, Deb, we've talked about some problems and some solutions and some advice you have for people. As we're wrapping up, do you have any sort of abstract, motivational, just like personal advice? Because, you and I, we've persevered, we've come across stress and struggle. So if someone says, some days I feel like giving up, right? Some days I feel like just the world is against me. So do you have any personal advice as far as like the psychology, the mindset, the motivation, as far as pressing forward? What do you have for us as far as just the inspiration to continue onward?
Mindset is huge. It is huge, and I've had to overcome, some of my own hurdles over time. But nothing changes if nothing changes, and we solely responsible for making the decision to make a change, make our lives better. No one is going to do that for us. No one's going to step in and pick up the ball where we've dropped it. We've been through some hard times. We've shown how resilient we are, and we're still standing. So don't be afraid to just keep moving forward. Don't look back. And believe that there are people out there that will hold your hand and help you, move forward and succeed the same as we are trying to ourselves, just as everyday people.
I love it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Now is the time to change. And Deb is that person that can and will help you and your business change for the better. DCK Digital Marketing Solutions.com.au. And thank you, Deb Pengilly, for showing up, giving us a handful of advice to move forward. But ideas and advice are abstract until they're implemented. So you are the implementer. So someone who is hungry and eager for this change in their business needs to contact you, dckdigitalmarketingsolutions.com.au. And thank you, Deb, for showing up and giving us some really cool ideas and advice. I appreciate you very much.
Thanks so much for having me, Robert.